How's up, everyone? Today I'd like to do a full analysis and showcase of Halloween Elisanne. Now, when most people look at Halloween Elisanne, they see a powerful attack unit that can also double as a support unit, thanks to her primary ability of Sacred Maiden, which I will call the Atomic Pumpkin, because she literally throws out a pumpkin that turns into an atomic bomb and does tons of damage. Now, this ability is designed to be spammed, thanks to this thing called Skill Shift. So as long as you're spamming this attack, you can increase your entire team's attack strength, and you can also heal them. So it is a very, very good technique to spam. And thanks to her second ability, the Mischief Maker, which is the technique, you just keep stabbing the enemy for like, what, 3 to 4 to 5 seconds or something like that. Yeah, probably even 5 seconds. And you have tons of invulnerability frame while you're doing it. So while you're doing this, you just keep stabbing and stabbing and stabbing, and also build up your skill gauge at the same time, allowing you to spam this skill some more. Now, these are her primary strengths, but these are also her primary weaknesses, because both of these skills are very flashy and takes a while to resolve. So, for example, Atomic Pumpkin. You throw out this pumpkin at the enemy, but what if the enemy charges towards you? You will miss the entire attack, and the only thing you'll get out of it is the buff. It's kind of awkward. And also, you also kind of have to wait until you land after you jump back. The jumping back itself could be used. You can use it to tech to dodge out of an attack or something like that. But what if, say, an enemy set up an AoE after you've jumped? Well, then by the time you land it, you could have eaten that AoE. So it's very dangerous to use it mindlessly. And the same thing with this Mischief Maker as well. This technique, what if the enemy were to sidestep? Now, if they charge towards you, they'll eat the entire attack, because, yeah, there's nothing they can do about it. But if they sidestep, you'll stand there for 5 seconds stabbing air, and you will look absolutely ridiculous. So that is another weakness of Elisanne. And also, of course, you know, if somebody lays down another AoE underneath you and your 5 seconds runs out, oopsie daisy, you die. And don't even get me started with purple skills. You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So you have to be really careful when you use Elisanne. She's not very good against enemy bosses that can runs around a lot and also spams purple skills. Alright, anyway, so now we go into co-op abilities. HP 9% might not look all that great on paper, but it's actually a pretty decent skill. I mean, for example, she heals, so having more health means more survivability. And since she heals, your team will last a little longer than usual. So this is not something you want to look down on. Not to mention, say, for example, like Zodiark. Imagine a high Zodiark. Just like in high Midgard Samar, he probably will explode right in the beginning. Just for no reason at all, just causes a nuclear explosion. And you have to survive that initial burst. I find that a completely disgusting mechanic, by the way. It's strictly a gear check. I hate stuff like that. You know, I like this game for its ability to allow you to use skill to dodge things, to make the most of your character. But something like this, where you just start out with an explosion, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's the one complaint I have with fighting bosses in this game. The sole complaint. That explosion. But anyway, with this 9%, you could survive this technique, and then you can actually get into the fight. So this will help out quite a bit. Anyway, her abilities. Primary ability, she has one called Skill Damage 30%. And Skill Damage 30% with her ability to spam skills is very deadly. But once again, you have to spam responsibly. If you don't, you will die. You will eat tons of AoE and then you will die. So you have to be really careful. Don't get baited. But this is a very good one though, because since she's a melee unit, getting hit is a very, very real possibility. So not having an HP restriction and still doing 30% is disgusting. She's a very, very disgusting character. Now we have Curse Resistance, which allows her to ignore curses, and so she can keep spamming skills. Very, very disgusting. And most importantly, Gauge Accelerator 35% is very deadly. It allows her to break a boss much faster than usual. And when a boss is broken, they lay on the ground. And when they lay on the ground, that's when you start shooting pumpkins and stabbing them repeatedly, dealing chunks and chunks of damage. So she's a very well built unit with a whole bunch of synergetic skills on top of each other. Anyway, so yeah, she's a little embarrassed about her costume. Now, let's go and showcase my Elisanne. So for me, I set her up with the Thunderbolt. This is a 4-star tier 3 light spear that has the ability to use Thunder's Focus, which increased my critical rate by 15% for 10 seconds. Now this is very, very deadly. If I proc that right before, what's that attack called again? I'll just call it the If I do that, I'll literally stand there for 5 seconds and just keep stabbing and stabbing full of critical damages on the enemy boss that I fight. Oops, gotta lock that spear. And when that happens, or I could throw a pumpkin and it'll do tons of critical attack, because these things, they do a lot of continuous damage on the enemy, so you're guaranteed to get criticals. Now for me, I used a worm print of Levin's Champion. It is the premier DPS. It is the best DPS worm print, I think, in my opinion. There are other ones too, like Evening of Luxury, but we'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, so with Levin's Champion, HP 70% gives, with an HP of 70%, she gets a critical rate of 6% increase. 8% if you max out the card. I'm pretty damn close to that now. And you also increase critical damage. So this is a worm print that is perfectly synergetic with each other. Its two abilities work together. So it is an amazing card, and if you get that, you should really consider yourself lucky, because it is a very good card. Anyway, next month I'll max this thing out, and then I'll be able to do a critical rate of 8%. But for now, 6% will more than suffice, because combined with that Thunderbolt just now, you're looking at a wonderful 21% crit rate. And each crit is like, what, double damage? Yeah, the enemy's gonna eat chunks and chunks of damage. It is really disgusting. And finally, my dragon currently is Silk. It's probably because I don't have better options for DPSing. I would much prefer to wait until like a 60% dragon were to pop out. But Silk does have a very important ability of just keep tossing pumpkins on the enemy over and over and over again. I just wish that, though, she doesn't have this thing where they reduce enemy attack strength by 10%, and instead have the same thing as her regular form, which reduce enemy defense by 10%. If she has that, and she keeps tossing those stupid pumpkins at people, she will do ridiculous damage. So this thing is a little weak because of its attack strength. I much prefer her dark regular version instead. And of course, it would be better if she was focused on strength rather than HP and strength, but, well, beggars can't be choosers. Her ability to attack is top tier. I like her dragon attacks. Sorry about that, there was some interruption. But anyway, I believe Elisanne is a DPS at her core, so something like Joan of Arc will not really work well with her. I mean, it does keep her alive very nicely, but I think that since she spams skills all the time, she wants to get all the offensive strength that she can get. So Silk is, well, currently the best option for it. After that, I would like to aim for something that gives 40% offense right off the bat that I can max unbind to 60%. Then I will be able to unleash Elisanne's true power. But for now, I think an offense of 1290 is pretty decent. I can dish out tons of pain. And I will showcase now how she deals with various threats. Now, for the battle that'll really put Elisanne's ability to the test. Zodiark. Alright, so one of the first things I come to have a rude awakening on with melee characters is that their normal attacks from dragons are a pain in the ass to dodge. They come out quick, and they disrupt your attacks. However, rate mechanics have no problem dodging. The problem with these normal attacks is that they, like that, they ruin your DPS. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Dodge this. 1, 2, 3. Dodge this. No problem. Dodge that too. Then I'll dodge this some more. I'll get inside of you. Nope, that doesn't help. It helps with a normal melee attack, but that tackle, that'll ruin my day. That always ruined my day. Come on, boy. Call for help. Stop pushing me down. Alright, another problem with Elisanne is, as you've just seen, her stupid atomic pumpkin attack misses if the opponent were to do something like that. Oh god, I was hoping you would stay locked down for a little longer. Alright, come on then! So the problem with Elisanne, as you can see, her weaknesses are very pronounced because of all these long techniques that she has. So you can't reliably land these attacks unless the enemy is currently locked onto some kind of attack. Like this, for example. Blah! Oh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's a pumpkin! Yep! Dodge out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. A melee attack hits me in the face! Ooh. That's the main problem. That's the main problem with Elisanne. She needs to not have that problem. Her attacks take too long. That's really the main issue I have with new characters, is that their attacks are really too flashy. And when your attacks are too flashy, this happens. Whereas with 3-star characters like Althemia, nah, she just shoots out a fireball and then that's the end of it. Oop, I better get out of that. Yeah, she just shoots out a fireball and that's the end of that. No, none of this, oh yeah, you have to sit like 5 years for this stupid technique to come out. Still, Elisanne makes up for it with the fact that she gives herself buffs. Well, and the whole team too. But yeah, it's all about timing when it comes to using her techniques. If only I'm not the only character here with a solo, maybe those stupid melee tackles will stop! You can't even dodge it at melee range. You have to have a very specific small window in order to dodge it. At least, with the little bite that he has, I can simply... Oh, crap. And that's another problem with her techniques. They take too long. They take too long. And, god damn it! If I were to use a technique and Chaos Cage comes out, I will get caught. Do not want. So be very careful when you use Elisanne. Still, I was able to get out of all kinds of horrible problems. And now it's time to call it a day! Now there is strength in her techniques, in the fact that, well, they take forever to finish and resolve. So, I was able to avoid damage from his charge using that stabby attack. I forgot the name already. However, as you've just seen, I got greedy, tried to toss another attack, and unfortunately got caught in the cage. But I did do quite a bit of damage and was able to just break out of it. So as you've seen, Elisanne is a good character, but those weaknesses you have to pay really close attention to. Alright, now let's do another demonstration real quick. Okay, now for another demonstration of Halloween Elisanne, we go to Halloween Horrors, our home map. Now, first thing we need to do is agitate Lily into using her Glacial Blossom to blow up all these people. Then we stand still for a second, and then guide our AIs to the right. I find that when I start moving around, the AI likes to follow me, and they could be guided to dodge certain AoE attacks. That's a technique that ended up working out for me when I do 2-minute runs. And now, for the third group, I try to nuke them to death. Sometimes the skeleton's knight doesn't actually use his guard on time, and I nuke him. But unfortunately, this time I screwed up, and then I screwed up again, trying to poke him to death, and I missed, and wasting precious time. But that's okay, I have confidence that I'll beat this in 2 minutes. Alright, now for the fourth group, I try to nuke them down to death, and once again I screwed up. I thought I'd land a pumpkin on top of him, so we'll make up for it. Now we're going to go and attack the rest of the group, taking out this Dark Eye Fly using my spears. There we go. And now I buff up, see this big dude show up and start spamming attacks. Oh yeah, oh crap. Well, that's... See, that's once again the problem with Atomic Pumpkin. If the enemy charges at you, you will miss the attack. And the only thing I did was buff my entire team's attack strength, which is not so bad. Now I can use Silk to keep launching attacks, just keep throwing my balls. And now that he's broken, I land this entire technique on him. My Atomic Pumpkin ripped off most of his flesh, and now I will poke him to death. And so, this was an easy clear. I cleared it with 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. I can do better if I hadn't screwed up so much, but as you've seen, this is for demonstration purposes. With this event, I've gone and used all level 1 event worm prints, because I need all the trigger trees as I can get without fully investing on it. Thankfully though, Halloween Elisanne is quite powerful, and her 9% health really comes through when it comes to getting Maribel and Lily alive to get past most of this stuff. Anyway, so that's about it. I thank you all for watching. Until next time.